Hello YouTube, my name is Kelsh, and today, for my first ever video publicly on the channel, we'll be doing a deck profile of the new Bt12 ShineBond with the additional package of Bond of Bravery, Agumon Bond of Bravery. Now, since this is deck profile, I shall start us off simply with the eggs. I'll place the two to the side for later use. Now, the eggs are, of course, the draw one Koromon when attacking. You know, staple. If you're really struggling on draw power, and honestly, this deck is kinda iffy about draw power, but it is good overall, you definitely want to stay with these. Because of the fact you're already hitting security and you're gonna get a card off it. Because it's when attacking. Alrighty, all good. You want to make sure to run a playset of, also known as 4 of, the Bt5 Koromons for the draw. Now, we'll start off next with the rookies. We have 4 of the, I'll explain my reasoning behind every rookie in a minute when I'm done setting these guys up. My, as you can kind of tell, my deck profiles are a bit different from your usual, but they should be still applicable. Now, let's start off with the Bt12 Agumon. The Bt12 yellow and red Agumons. The reason you run them is because they're already Digivolving for 0 off a Koromon, which is why you run a Koromon, and they're be able to search. Plus, their inherited is give -2k if a red or yellow tamer suspends, which is very nice. But going back to the search aspect, they search 4. However, they do only search for Marcus and Greymon, a Digimon with Greymon in its name, such as ShineGreymon, as you can see here. They do not search for Agumon, but that's fine. So you run 4 of these. 4 of these guys. Next, you run 4 of the Bt6 Agumon, which you don't really want to worry about. It's, it's when you play a tamer, Taikamiya, gain a memory. I mean, it's nice for sec, really, but honestly, overall, you really want to run it for the security check with the extra bond. It's not a dinosaur, but that's where these guys come in. The Agumon X Antibody. This is honestly a staple for any Greymon deck nowadays, because you can just Digivolve it on top of an Agumon, and it's a rookie itself, and its search ability as well. Its on play and when Digivolving search ability is amazing. And honestly, I only run 2 of because that's all I really need. And that's all you really need of this deck. Because it hits, and it hits quite hard. Now, it's time to go on to the champions, which I run 8 of. Now, are you wondering, why do you run 8 of a champion? Well, my good person, I run 8 because I can play them out if I so need to, and they're good for Digivolving. Of course, that's kind of the point. Anyways, first I'll start with the Bt12. Bt12 GeoGreymon. When you can already Digivolve for 2 off of, the Bt12 Agumon, which is nice, and Agumon X Antibody. Bandai specified that, or I'm pretty sure Bandai specified that. Anyways, moving on. The comments can tell me, and you guys are in the comments. Anyways, so we run it because it's the same effect as this guy. However, it is when Digivolving, if you have it out of raising, you can play a Marcus Damon for free, which is super nice considering how many this deck mainly runs Marcus Damons. You could say this deck is a Marcus Damon Agumon deck, but that's not the point. Anyways, 4 of these, very nice. And then 4 of the starter deck 7, the Gallantmon starter deck 7, Geogreymon. Because of the Rise Greymon, and if you really are in a pinch and they go 3 anyways, you can play it out. It's a security Digimon, which means pretty much for all you newer players out there that you can, at the end of battle, you can play it without playing its memory cost. And on play, it can delete a 4,000 DP or less Digimon, which is very nice. Which can counter really Crossheart. I mean, Crossheart kind of has big bodies, but let's not focus on that. So, here are the champions. 4 of each of these 2 guys. 4 of, I can't speak. I apologize. 4 of each Geogreymons. Now, we'll move on to the ultimates, which includes the ever so lovely new Bt12 Rise Greymon, the ever so lovely Rise Greymon from Bt4. Yes, Bt4. And the ever so lovely Rise Greymon X. I may be wondering, what is with these ratios? These ratios are kind of weird. Well, the reason behind this is, for one, you definitely want to try to see this because of its effect. I'll go over that in a second. And Rise Greymon, I'll go over his effect in a second, and Rise Greymon X, I'll go over his effect in a second. So, first of all, I'll start with this. The new Bt12 Rise Greymon. You want to run 4 of, because it's very, very nice. And plus, you know, its effect is, does actually cover over to inherited effect. So, I'm going to say the effect, but it will also apply for inherited. The second effect, the all turns effect, I'll specify. Anyways, so first of all, it's 3 off a Geogreymon, which, amazing already. And if you have a red or yellow tamer in play, you gain a memory, which is automatically insane for this deck for reasons I will go over later. Anyways, so it's really, if you're digivolving off a Geogreymon, which this deck's only champions are Geogreymon, yeah, it feels good. Anyways, it's all turns once per turn. It's regular effect, and this will count for the inherited effect as well, like I said. When one of your tamers is deleted, place 1 Marcus Damon from trash on top of security, which goes really well with the pace of this deck. And that's the same for the inherited. Make sure you run 4 of these guys. They're really nice. Next, 1 of the Bt4 Rise Greymon. Now, the reason you run it is not for the yellow effect. It is for the Digiburst. Digiburst 2, you can play a 4-cost tamer or less, which if you are lacking any Marcuses, really, you can play it, and it's inherited, God, I can't speak, I'm so sorry, viewers, is if you have a tamer in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2k for the turn, which can kill any low body. If you have, you know, this guy and this guy, which is nice. And it just lowers DP. Finally, you want to run 3 Rise Greymon X antibodies. So, already you're digivolving for 1 off the Rise Greymon, which can be circumvented with the X antibody, which there is 1 of in this deck. I'll go over why I run 1 of later when I get to that. Anyways, its effect, when digivolving, you may play a red or yellow tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. That's without Rise Greymon and or the X antibody. And if it has a Rise Greymon or X antibody, mind or if you're gonna see the Rise Greymon because you kind of need it to digivolve, But if you didn't have it, it's still nice because it gives minus 2k to one of your opponent's Digimon for every single tamer you have out. And then, your turn, for each tamer you have in play, it gets 1k DP. Let's say you have like 3 tamers out. It's automatically going up to 11 and minusing, and you played a 4th. It's automatically going up to 12k DP, and it's giving minus 6k. That is insane. Oh, boingo. Plus, the Rise Greymon effect, if you manage to get this guy, it's so good. You want to run 3 of this guy. So the ratios are 4 of the new Bt12 Rise Greymons, 1 of the Bt4 Rise Greymon, and 3 of Rise Greymon X Antibody. Next, we'll move on to the Megas, or specifically the first, the 1 level 6. You have the new Bt12 Rise Shine Greymon. I may be wondering, why am I only running 1 Mega? Because the main package, because, you know, why not? And it's funny, and it throws people off the game. Anyways, you want to run 4 of this guy, because of its Digivolve Rise Greymon. Don't worry about that. With this deck, you are always going to have a Rise Greymon, because the Rise Greymon X Antibody is treated as Rise Greymon. Anyways, so, when Digivolving, for each red and yellow tamer you have out, one of your opponent's Digimon, and mind you, all of your opponent's security gets minus 3k for each one in play for the turn. Just for the turn. Not next turn, not the turn after, just the turn. Keyword, mind the keywords. Anyways, its other effect is, your turn, once per turn, or your turn, all your Marcus Daemons get plus 3k and additional security check, which, if you do things, is insane. So you wanna run 4 of this guy. You wanna run 4 of him. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna go grab a drink because I need one. Sorry. Oh man. Not sponsored by Gatorade, by the way. They make good drinks though. Anyways, the level 7s. There is quite a lot. I'll go over why I run them all and what their reasoning. Yes. Next is the tamers, and then the options at the end. First of all, Agubond. I said in the beginning, I had it, but it's kind of the support package for Shine Greymon. And the Agubond, his effect is, if you have a tamer in play, when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3k DP or less. And if this goes through, and if any deletion happens really, and you have this guy out in the field, once per turn, he trashes an opponent's security. So, very good card. Really good. And 14 DP base is utterly amazing, honestly. And it works really well with the Agumon that gives Sec +1. Anyways, now, we'll move on to the staple. Omnimon. You want to run 2 of these guys. They're kind of game enders. They're very, very nice to end game because they unsuspend, they have blitz, and they protect against deletion with, like, a level 6, which you're usually going to have a level 6 under because you kind of need that. Anyways, you want to run 2 of, just in case if they delete 1, you can still end game with another. Then you run one of the Bt10 Omnimon X Antibody and 1 of the Bt5 Omnimon X Antibody. Now, these can actually combo off each other. There is a errata that, now you may be wondering, how you can do that? Well, I will do that in just a second. So, speaking about Omnimon X Antibody, the Bt10 one, this one right here, He specifically got routed by Bandai. It has to be in the sources. So, if you have an Omnimon in sources and an X antibody in sources, you have automatically a 1-cost Omnimon X. And his effect is when Digivolving, and his when Digivolving and when attacking are the same. He has an extra when Digivolving, that's what I'm going to get into right now. His when Digivolving is return all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of its owner's deck, which can negate any Garurumon X shenanigans, because it's nice, it's beautiful. Then, when Digivolving and when attacking, by placing an X antibody or a level 6 to the bottom of this, its owner's deck, you can reveal all your opponent's security, all, and trash one, which is amazing. Now, how this, which is amazing. Then we have the Bt12 one, which in its right is great for raid counters and just anything, because with raid now being a mechanic, you want this in your deck, because it's when it can Digivolve on top of this, because it can Digivolve for 3 on a card with Omni in its text, and its effect is, its when attacking effect is, it has 2 effects. It has a when attacking and opponent's turn. Its when attacking effect is delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. And its opponent's turn, you can trash 2 of the sources to automatically end attack. Doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, whatever the frick the time. The attack is stopped automatically. If you trash 2 sources, doesn't matter what they do, they automatically stop the attack. Even with raid. It does not matter about raid. Anyways. Here are all the level 7s for your perusal if you want to copy them down. There you go. The only two cards of the level 7s you will be running is the Agumon Bond and the regular Omni, the Blitz Omni, the classic, the boy. Anyways. Now we'll move on to Tamers. Tamers. Good old Tamers. Now, Tamers. I'll go over the low-cost ones first, and then I'll go over the other things. So, first of all, start off with Nokia. Nokia Shimiya. Her effect is on play, you can play an Agumon or Gabumon from your hand for free, which is automatically really good. And when you Digivolve, you can suspend her to reduce the cost by 1. Which is really good if you're Digivolving on something for both a Greymon, in-name, and Omnimon. Which, if you want to end game quicker, you pay 3, if you have 0, you can pay 3, you tap her, you pay 3, you Digivolve into the Omnimon, bada bing, bada boom. You can end game quicker. That's what she does. Then Marcus Damon, memory setter automatically, very nice. I know I said I'd go over this, but I'll go over this in a second. I'm doing thing weird, I'm sorry. This is my first video, so I'm just trying my best here. Anyways, he's a memory setter, and when you suspend him, when you attack with a Greymon, with a Digimon with Greymon in its name, you can gain a memory, which is really good. So you want to run 3 of. You want to run one of the Nokia as well. Then you want to run one of the BT1 Tai Kamiya. Insane card for red decks. If it has 4 sources or more, you get an additional security check. Just 1, but insane. Insane. Because Shine Greymon does count as a red and or yellow Digimon. So yes, pretty good. He automatically sets you to 3 and additional security check. You want to run 1 of, but you can adjust to 2 of. It's very, very good. Very good card. Any red deck, I'd highly recommend it. Now, onto the two main cards of the deck. Besides the other Marcus Damon, the Bt12 Kamiya. So, first of all, your turn. If you move an Agumon or Greymon in its name, move from the breeding area into the battle area, you gain a memory and draw one, which if you automatically have one out and you keep getting set to one by any pesky decks, like let's say Mastermon or something, you gain a memory and draw an additional card, which can help you find things. So you want to run two of. Its other effect is main. You can Digivolve an Agumon into one Agumon Bond of Bravery in your hand for Digivolution cost, ignoring its level. If you do, trash the top card of your security stack. So you're gonna want to do this at the end of the game. And if you have one or more security stacks, you delete the Digimon. That's why I suggest you do it at the end of the game. Now you want to run two of these guys because they're insane. Anyways, you want the new Bt12 Marcus Damon, which is amazing and is the backblood and backbone of this deck. Now, it is... So, for cost, if you have, and start a main. If you have a Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name, by paying one memory, only one, for the turn, this tamer is also treated as the 3K Digimon. And following up on that can't Digivolve. Mind you, it says it can't Digivolve. Keyword. Then, when this tamer becomes suspended, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a yellow card with Greymon in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost, which is insane. And you want to run 4 of these guys. Now, the ratios so far are 1 Nokia, 3 Marcuses, 3 old Marcus Damons, 1 BT1 Taikamiya, 2 BT6 Taikamiyas, and the only 4 of in the tamers, 4 BT12 Marcus Damons. Finally, the options. You want to run 1 Shine Buster, 1 Shining Blast, and 1 X Antibody. Now, the reason you want to run 1 Shining Blaster is because I would run more, but Bandai restricted it. So you can only run 1, but its effect is you may play 1 yellow or red tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. Then for each one you have, 1 Digimon gets minus 3k for the turn, which is really, really good, which is utterly amazing. Then, Shining Blast. It's similar to Sunrise, but it's just for Marcuses, and it can give 3 Digimon minus 2k instead. But it works pretty much the same as Shining Buster, but just it gets 3 minus 2k instead. And then X Antibody because I have Rise Greymon X Antibody. And you can Digivolve up into it, which is very nice. Alrighty. Well, people of the internet, that is my deck profile. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are. This is Kelsh, signing on out.